Uh-oh. Here we go again, guys.
Room. Call security.
Welcome to the show.
Another episode of
That one doesn't get old.
Never.
Well, today we are going to talk to Robert Aldama. He's a well-known coach and exclusively training youth athletes, and he does really well with youth athletes, including his own daughter. They do really, really well. We're going to talk about when is it too young to start kids, competing in Muay Thai. There's a lot of debate. Our company was founded on youth Muay Thai. We actually started because of the youth Muay Thai and trying to build that. And we encountered a lot of pushback. A lot of people didn't really like watching kids compete and fight. And you look around at other sports, soccer, full of concussions, probably way more concussions for kids than any other sport. Football. Nobody really puts up a fight for those sports, but when it comes to fighting, and Muay Thai, which is relatively safe, even like with no contact to the head, a lot of people don't like it. And so, let's start that conversation. So we're going to be joined by Robert Aldama, a USA coach for WBC, and we're going to have that discussion, and I want to hear what he has to say about that. What's up, Robert?
Oh, no. Robert's in
the squad, huh? You guys look great.
So do you do. You look sharp.
How are you guys doing? Are you guys ready for?
He looks like a club promoter right now.
Yeah, he's looking sharp.
This is a random black polo.
It's just the regular ass clothes. It's a regular old day. But
it's because we're all used to seeing each other in like the coach gear, like always training, always, rocking and rolling. So it's nice to see you dressed casually.
Thank you.
For sure. Well, let's discuss. I'm going to pose this question to you first, Robert. Like, when is a good age to start your athletes competing as far as kids? When is it a good time for kids to start competing in Muay Thai?
Well, that is the number one question I get a lot. At the end of the day, it depends on the athlete, right? Every youth is different. You have kids that are born with the talent that they can comprehend the knowledge pretty fairly, or they're very athletic. And there's some that takes longer. But it is up to the coach to develop the athlete to take that first step to compete. To start training Muay Thai, well, it all depends on the gym, right? So if the gym has programs where they start from 4 to 5 and then 6, 7, 8, it all depends on the structure of that.
I've started kids as early as literally my rule was as long as they're out of diapers, they can start training. I don't want to deal with no diapers or accidents on the mat. And I was pretty much, but I used to actually train them as young as 2. As soon as they were walking, I was training them until they had like pee accidents. And I was like, okay, new rule. Yeah. So
I used to have my kids program was 3 to 6 and then 6 and 7 to 12. But with time, because I've been fortunate enough to get a lot of athletes, I've been phasing the little kids program out. I'll maybe introduce it once I have maybe when one of my up and coming stars, Victor, is a little older. I might open a program for him.
For sure.
Start learning how to teach, and the best way to learn to teach is when you have to teach little kids that don't pay.
You have to break it down real small.
Is a true saying, you learn by teaching, and I continue to learn just by teaching and I find a new way. But Yeah. I have my youngest daughter, Lexi. She's been training as well since she was like 2 years old, on and off. Alani started training at 2 years old as well, until she decided she wanted to compete at 7 years old. So Alani started competing at 7, and she hasn't stopped ever since.
Wow. I mean, that's like so. Let's talk about full Muay Thai rules, right? Because I had one of my kids compete full with the full elbows, elbows to the head, knees, the whole nine. And he said he had a great time. No cuts, no injuries.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, man, like adults could not fight with elbows, even padded
Yeah.
elbows, they couldn't fight with them. Um, over time, people kind of understood, that it's not as dangerous as it sounds.
Yeah.
And so I think in our entire 10 years or no, yeah, 10 years, I think I've only seen like a knockout with teens via elbow one
Yeah.
time in 10 years. I think I've only seen it once, and I've seen thousands of fights live, especially with youth, and it's a very difficult thing for kids to land. You have to get close enough, you have to have perfect aim, like you have to have enough power to land it at the right spot. Very, very difficult technique. And a lot of people, struggle with the fact that, kids are fighting at full contact. And what do you say to that? These kids that are fighting at full contact, where are the parameters that they should be competing in? Should they just go right into, full contact like in Thailand? Or should they be, easing their way in? What's your take on that?
Well, there is a stigma, right? Especially here in the United States. It's still a new sport in the United States. But I mean, like you said, in Thailand, the kids, I've seen a lot of kid fights in Thailand, and the kids don't even cut themselves. Sometimes they even forget to throw the
Very
elbow.
rare.
Very rare. Victor, I think Victor was 10 years old or 11 when he had his first fight with elbows. But I mean, it all goes with preparation. I mean, you don't want to start off the bat, full rules. Like there's a lot of parameters, especially here in the United States, that is helping actually with the development with kids. We have the no head contact that we recently been starting for the last couple of years, that is easing young athletes into competition, where they're learning Muay Thai instead of trying to headhunt the whole time.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. Or it was the last week. When did we talk about the develop? I think Crew Rich came on and talked about the development leagues and how that has been helping a lot of kids, and I think adults too, get themselves up to speed with defense, how to defend for them, how to see them, getting like ring time, so
Yeah.
to speak. And I really think that's a great idea to kind of build the youth, especially youth,
When it's
safely.
fun, very fun, especially with no major repercussions. You know what I mean?
Right.
They can go in there, especially adults as well. 90% of the adults are there for fitness and fun, and they want to dabble into a scrimmage. Um, we have our semi-contact events. We have the MDL. They're ran very, very well, very tight. Is all about the athlete's safety first and foremost before anything else. But that that depends on how the shows are being ran. Yeah. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would say some people, some coaches, like I've had a couple of people who are like, tell me that they thought, the scrimmages is basically like, cause I saw some of the scrimmages, they do like a report card. They tell the athletes what they did right and what they did
Mhm.
wrong. Like
Yeah.
it really kind of cool. But at the same time, I had somebody talk to me and he was like, well, isn't that the coach's job? Isn't that the coach's job to kind of get them up to speed in that way? You know, like, why are we allowing other people to do the coach's job at these scrimmages when they should be the ones developing their athletes in-house? What do you say to that?
Well, that's a great point, but the perspective is that we're the professionals how we're judging a fight, right?
Right.
So as we're judging a fight, we're telling them, look, you need to work on your balance, you need to work on your defense, you need to put combinations better together, you need to start the exchange and finish the exchange. Certain things that us as judges, we're actually judging but giving you the criteria on where you need to improve, so when you step into the ring you have those tools. You already know how to win. That's the point. A lot of people do not know how to win. Everybody
Right.
learn to fight, but they don't understand how to win.
I
I
agree.
I coach my students and I tell them when they're done sparring, how ahead you think you are? Well, they'll be like, oh, I think I landed 4 to 5 more kicks. I might be up on points. Perfect. A lot of people don't do that. People don't understand. You got to teach your athletes to keep score.
And I love playing devil's advocate in these shows
Yeah.
because I mean, I do agree with you, but I do also understand the other side of things, because I've gotten that feedback as well.
Mm.
You know, where, some of these coaches that would, some people are like, well, why are we helping shitty coaches that don't do that for their athletes, right? And just let them kind of like, what would you say, like, I guess, street justice, right? Like they're eventually gonna find out which gyms are doing well and which coaches are actually coaching their athletes in turn. Rather than just, I've seen tons of, with the US Open, I've seen it all. I've seen some
Yeah.
wacky cornering, coaches telling their athlete to just be themselves in the corner. I'm like, what does that
Here,
even mean?
I see.
And so I get both sides of that coin,
Let me flip that coin back my way. Okay.
Cool.
At the end of the day, we're there for the growth and development of the athlete and not the coach.
For sure.
We could help that athlete, and we could probably spark some ring IQ or some intelligence. That athlete is going to have a little taste of that and probably find a better coach.
Yeah.
And then that athlete that we were able to give that little information now is fighting at, Lumpini Stadium, or, if
Kind of open their eyes a little bit.
Yeah. And I've been doing my technical Thai boxing series for 11 years. And I've had people start in my events and they end up in the UFC. And I'm like, different sport.
That's
but
really cool.
right,
Who's that? Who has started in your events that's ended up in the UFC?
This young guy, he's ginger guy. I forget his name. He's from San Diego. But young
Okay.
guy. When I get his info, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But he had a stint in the UFC. I think he did like three fights.
No way.
Yeah, and now he worked, now he's somewhere else. But he
says a stint like it's Lompoc or something over there.
We've had athletes like, starting our events and,
Is it Spike Carlisle?
Yeah,
Jeremy.
It is him.
Spike.
That little ginger boy.
How do you say that? Spike Carlisle?
Something like that. But
Carlisle.
yeah,
Carlisle.
when I used to have these events inside my
Thank
gym.
you, Jeremy. Jeremy got it. Jeremy got it down.
Jeremy,
some California Muay Thai trivia right there.
San Diego.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah,
wow, that's pretty cool. Then they started in the development league. What?
Half of these kids, well, I could only speak for San Diego, but we have a lot of kids that have started our events. Some of them, end up winning back-to-back USMTO titles. compete
I've
across
seen it.
the world.
They do really well.
You know,
And they're very technical.
yes, because we slow it down. You know, you could only win with brutality so far. It could only
Right.
brutality takes you so far. Once you find a tactician, they start picking you apart.
Right. Especially sometimes, you know, with the little kids, sometimes they get a little bit, you know, you'll see some of these kids just kind of jab cross, and they kind of just push the other opponent, you know, they win because they're bigger, or they, you know, they just more aggressive. But over time, you'll start seeing those kids not be able to rely on that anymore.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I've seen, you know, and over time they're just not able to rely on the aggression. You know, all of a sudden they get catching knees, they're catching elbows. You know, the kid that's been focusing on their angles. As a matter of fact, we had an athlete, Yvesh. And I don't know if you remember Yvesh, but he was, you know, he took gold at IFMAs. He took bronze at IFMAs. And he started very little. He was teeny. He was very, very small 9-year-old. I think it was 8. And he started our first US Open. And he fought a giant because there was nobody else for him to fight. And yeah, he lost. And he lost quite a bit because he was always like under the lowest weight class. I think the lowest weight class is 60, and he was like 55 pounds. And we were like, you know what? Just fight. You know, practice what you learned in fighting. And over time, he started to win. And because he was such a good technician in the ring, like he looked like a grown man when he was fighting at 9-10 years old. He finally, I think, took a gold medal. I think he beat Thailand in the final. I think when he was 11, but he was pretty, you know, he took his licks in the beginning just because he was just really small, you know. What are your thoughts on that, Brandon? Like, you know, what do you think about, you know, kids and fighting? And
yeah, I sorry guys, I was actually, I believe, there for that at IFMA with Yves. I think I got a photo with him with his medal. He did such a great,
he
you know,
killed it.
his performance was incredible. His composure, you know, he's just his mental was always kind of a little next level for a youth athlete. He was always very focused, from what I remember, you know, going to battle. But I think, you know, my thoughts come back to the safety. You know, we're talking about how young is too young, and Robert touched a little bit on safety. And I was just thinking, maybe, you know, let's talk a little bit more about, you know, what type of safety measures would a parent want to see, you know, for their child, if they knew, first of all, because you go through that where they're training at your camp and you see some talent, you know, they start at a class and you at some point have to go up to mom or dad and say, hey guys, you know, your daughter, you know, your son here is showing a level of skill that is far and few between in our sport. And, you know, we'd like to consider possibly going to competition. What are some of the questions that the parents have about that? Do they talk about safety? Do you inform them about some of that? So can you talk a little bit, Robert, about the safety and how you address that with parents, and, you know, what age competition might be, you know, something that's on the radar?
Yeah, so it's breaking down. Like I've been using your model at the USMTO as how I structure my classes, because ultimately we want to compete at the USMTO. So if they are a certain age with and a certain experience, then that's how I train them, right? So if they're 10 to 12 and they have zero experience, their sparrings are no head contact, right? So they all spar that way. And then
that's
when
smart.
Very smart.
When I approach the parents and I'm like, you know what, Stevie, I think he's ready to join our competition team. So he joins our competition team, and the training, you know, we take it to a different notch, but we continue with the safety parameters. Even though they don't have headshots, my kids wear headgear, mouthpiece, chest protector, their groin cup, elbow pads, knee pads, and shin guards. Not because I'm trying to have them look like Mega Man, but there's always accidents. There's the one time you blink or turn away, there's an accident, right? So the safer the better. You know, they kick an elbow, an accident. There's not so much,
Don't forget your cup, is
Yeah.
what Robert's saying. We've all done that. Go to sparring day and whoops, it's in my other bag.
My other bag. So, and then the competition team, when they train towards the level of competition they're gonna fight. So if they're gonna go a C class, their sparring is specifically targeted for no head contact, right? When they do pads with me, I don't hold pads for them to punch above their head. They're doing pads towards my belly pad, so they're understanding, you know, how to box to the body without, you know, hitting the face and getting a point deducted, and you know, you got to train the way you're gonna fight, and the parents understand that if their kids are from 0 to 3 fights, they're not gonna have head contact, and if it takes them a year or longer, they're still not gonna have head contact.
Nice.
Would you say that really helps the parents to feel a little more comfortable with them getting into competition? Because oh, we got Robert. There he is.
Yeah, I because they see it throughout. You know, Fridays when the kids are sparring on Fridays, I've been blessed. I have big windows right next to my ring, so all the parents, you know, either sit or stand and they're watching their kids spar. They understand that it's a contact sport, of course, and that, you know, they're gonna go at it, but to their level. So same thing with training. They have to spar with somebody in their demographic. They're not going to spar, you know, somebody that's like 10 to 15 pounds heavier than them. And you know, boys spar with girls, and girls spar with boys, but they're in the same you know, age and weight factor.
And it's sometimes it's tricky too, because not every gym has that many kids, you know.
Yeah,
and so
I've been blessed that I to be honest, I'm not sure how it happened, but I had nothing but adults for 10 years, and out of the blue I get nothing but kids and teenagers, and
you've had great success with them. I think that's why too, you know, like they
well, and your own kids, right? You're a
Right.
believer in it so much. I think that speaks volumes to other people when you've said, hey, and even my daughters have trained at Seton Gym.
Yeah.
You know, it's when you believe in it, you have your kids do it too, and then other people see that you're doing it.
You gotta believe in your product in order to sell it. If you don't believe, nobody's gonna buy it.
Yeah. Ryan, you had a follow-up too about the
Coach. Well, we're running to the end of our time here, but I got just one last question here. When it comes to gyms, you know, there's a lot of variety out there in the United States, and you have a gym that participates heavily, I would say, in competition. And there are others out there that just don't, for a variety of reasons. Yours, where you have a steady stream of youth competitive athletes. What makes your program unique in your view?
We're a competition-driven gym. Our ultimate goal is to make sure all our students have the ability to defend themselves, and the only way we're going to know they could do that is if they compete. But I always say it when we get new members, we let them know that this is a competition-driven gym, that they will have the option to compete if they wish to, and if they don't, well, there will be, you know, no hard feelings, but they're going to be training with competitors. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be training with athletes that are priding themselves on taking themselves to the next level to be able to win that world championship or that USMPO belt or you know, TBA, whatever they're getting ready to. But there's gyms that just want to teach the martial art aspect of it. Is beautiful. There's other gyms that just want to be competition driven, and then we have other gyms.
Just a
That's funny.
follow-up.
We know talk about.
Right.
I was gonna say though too though real quick, he made me think of when I was in Thailand and I go to Sitsong Pinong and I never planned on competing. You know, I just trained. I wanted to do fighter training and basically see if I could hang. And I remember having that little boy feeling, right? Like, oh my God, I'm about ready to walk in with the real deal here.
Yeah.
Just coach, just a follow up on your point. So and this doesn't get discussed, I think, often enough. So you run a competition focused gym. So when you're going out and you're competing and you're coming back, tell us about the environment, the energy that's in the room once your athletes get back from competition. Do you see that the competitive spirit and just the experience fuels growth? It fuels more engagement and participation in the gym?
Yeah, every time we come back with a great victory or we coming back from a great event, we all feed off each other, right? We're a competition driven gym, but we're very tight. We're I always say that all the kids in the gym are my own kids. You know what I mean? When we go to the USMTO, we rent out a VIP room, we put music, everybody gets in the zone. The kids take their USMTO shirts and everybody signs it for each other.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
We do 2020, I think that 2022, and everybody puts their signature, little happy face, and then they come back to the gym, they train with it. Everybody's looking around. And everybody's
that's a great tradition.
Yeah, like a yearbook, That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And
I like that.
They're like, I need to get one of those. And they all get pumped and they'll do one YDL and they'll do one technical, and then I'll be like, all right, you have two. It's time to see what we can make happen over there. I've been blessed. If you guys walk in my gym, I got a bunch of your guys' belts.
I love it. I love seeing that. So, Robert, great. I want to say thank you for joining us. I think this was very informative, especially for parents out there that are very on the fence about, allowing your kiddo to, participate, train, or even compete in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
I think it's something that'll change their life for the better. And I think you convey that in a very great manner, especially put your money where your mouth is. Your own kiddos are training and they're very successful. Yeah, I mean, I've met all your kids. They're sweetest kids. They're really, really well mannered. A lot of respect. I mean, and that's a testament to you and how well you parent and coach them. So, with that being said, thank you very much.
And a real quick plug too for you, man. That's Aldama Muay Thai, right? You're out of San Diego, or you're in
San Diego.
And then you also have your technical scrimmage or your technical series is March 30, the next one.
This Saturday.
Yeah, so anybody who's watching that's over in that area, definitely check that out. Meet with Robert.
I've been meaning to send some of my kids your way. Our kids are hungry for competition right now, especially our girls. Can't find anything for our girls, so we'll be there for the next one for sure.
We can get a couple of your girls matched up.
Fantastic! Can't wait.
Tiago, let me say a closing statement.
Go for it.
And a lot of people take this for granted. The athlete or the child is going to go as far as the parent takes them, because without the parents, there is no youth athlete. And a lot of people don't understand that. They could have all the talent in the world, but without the parents' support and being there, a
lot of these parents don't get enough credit.
Yeah,
they're on the sidelines, but they sacrifice a lot of money, a lot of time for their kiddos to kind of follow their dreams.
7 days a week for Muay Thai. 7 days a week.
That's right. It's a lot of commitment. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, and then join us next time. We're going to actually, now that everybody's into fight camp, we're going to be talking about, is running an essential part of being a successful Muay Thai athlete? Now, a lot of coaches out there are going to say yes. But I'm going to bring in an endurance triathlete, a professional, former pro. This guy's pretty, actually, he's pretty amazing human. He's my endurance coach. I do a lot of triathlon myself. I mean, he just finished doing, he's battling cancer right now at the moment. And he just, for charity, did 360 miles of cycling in 24 hours. It was an unbelievable feat. He was able to raise $4,000 for one of his athletes to go compete and push Riley at the Boston Marathon. So they hit their goal. This guy's pretty amazing human, and he's going to follow up some of these, maybe possibly debunk the running, method, and maybe not. I actually don't really know what he's going to say. But I wanted to bring in somebody that isn't in the fight world, that can maybe in the endurance world. And he is a resident expert. I mean, he's got like, he was an Olympic hopeful for the marathon. He's an amazing athlete, an amazing human. And I want to put him on the show and discuss whether or not there are alternatives to road work, alternatives to endurance. There's different kinds of endurance, and what kind of endurance training you should be supplementing your Muay Thai training with to be a successful Muay Thai athlete. And I think this is going to be a really fun one for us. So I want you guys to tune in next Tuesday at 7 p.m. MST time. That's going to be April 2nd, not April Fool's, April 2nd. And join us for that. That's going to be a really interesting one. Again, thank you. Thank you, Robert, for your insight. That was really great. And we'll see you very soon.
That was good, guys. See you guys soon. And
all right, guys.
Excited for the USMTO. Have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert.
All right,
Take care.
We'll see you all soon next time.